wallet. Funny, I didn't have enough money to fill my car and my child's belly. Funny how life is. Keep writing, you will get to funny. Keep laughing. Laughter is the only thing that will make this poem funny. Like that time I wrote my first haiku along the wall of my college dorm. Funny, it was actually funny no one noticed.
She helped people escape abuse. She taught others how to speak up. She sat with hurting women and told them, "You are not alone." She smiled in rooms full of broken stories and gave them her voice. Her name was Kelly Ann Mays. She was a mother, a counselor, a friend to strangers, and a loud, unshaken fighter against domestic violence. For over 10 years, she carried the weight of others, offering hope where hope had died. She didn't just teach strength, she lived it. But one winter morning in January 2024, the world found her lifeless on her bedroom floor. Her body was covered in blood, 17 stab wounds, no signs of forced entry, nothing stolen, just pain, quiet, violent, and final. The person who did this wasn't a stranger, it wasn't a break-in, it wasn't a robbery, it was her husband. The same man who once smiled beside her in photos, the same man who stood beside her at events about healing, the same man who said he loved her and killed her. How could a woman who spent her life saving others not save herself? What secret did she finally speak out loud that made him snap? And what do you do when the man you sleep beside becomes the reason you never wake up again? This is not just a murder. This is the story of a woman who tried to love past warning signs, and the man who made that love her last mistake.
Funny, I didn't have enough money to fill my car and my child's belly. Funny how life is. Keep writing, you will get to funny. Keep laughing. Laughter is the only thing that will make this poem funny. Like that time I wrote my first haiku along the wall of my college dorm. Funny, it was actually funny no one noticed.
Kelly Ann Mays was born on a cold November day in 1974 in Detroit, Michigan. She was the youngest of 3 children and shared a rare kind of closeness with her twin sister, Stacy. The family called them Twin A and Twin B. Kelly was Twin B, quiet, warm, thoughtful. The kind of child who paid attention to how others felt, even when she was still learning how to speak about her own. She grew up in a working-class home where life wasn't easy, but love was steady. From an early age, people saw something different in Kelly. She listened more than she spoke. She cared more than she had to. She didn't just want to be good. She wanted to understand people. Kelly went to Detroit public schools. She worked hard, even when things at home got tough. Books became her safe place. Learning gave her peace. And when she graduated, she wasn't done. She went on to college at Central Michigan University, where she studied psychology. She wanted to know why people hurt and how to help them feel whole again. After that, she earned a master's degree in counseling from the University of Phoenix. And even then she kept going, chasing a second master's at CMU in 2021. She was almost done with it, but she never got to finish. Kelly didn't want a big spotlight. She wanted to be a quiet light in someone else's dark room. And for a long time, that's exactly what she became. In 2008, Kelly fell in love. He seemed kind at first, charming, warm, someone she could build a life with. But little by little, the mask slipped. Love turned into control. Gentle words turned into silence, and silence turned into bruises. She stayed longer than she should have, not because she was weak, but because she believed in people, because she thought maybe love could fix what was broken, but it didn't. The worst came in 2010, on her daughter's first birthday. An argument turned violent. The man she loved beat her so badly she had to be hospitalized. That day changed everything. That day, something in her cracked, and something else woke up. She left him, and she took all the pain, the shame, the fear, and turned it into something powerful. Kelly became a voice for people who had none. She told the truth about what it felt like to be hurt by someone you trusted. She stood on stages, looked into cameras and told women, "You are not crazy and you are not alone." She started a non-profit called A Survivor Story. It wasn't just a name. It was who she was. She made safe spaces for women to cry, to speak, to rebuild. She gave them food, resources, counseling, and hope. The kind of hope she once needed herself. As a mental health therapist at Ajira Health, she worked mostly with children and teens. Her office was small, but it felt like a warm shelter. She could sit with someone in their darkest moment and make them believe the light would return. And it often did. She didn't just help people survive. She helped them believe they could live again. Her story was no longer just hers. It was a torch she carried for everyone too afraid to speak. After everything Kelly had been through, she still believed in love. She believed in second chances, not just for herself, but for others too. That's when she met Jimmy Lee Brown. He was younger than her, about 13 years, a rapper with a big personality and a stage name, Supa Emcee. He had been in the spotlight before. He even had a role in the movie 8 Mile, the one with Eminem. He made people laugh. He had charm, confidence. He made Kelly feel seen. And for a while, it worked. They talked, they laughed, they shared dreams. She thought maybe this time would be different. Maybe this man could love her the right way. Slowly, their friendship turned into a relationship. Her daughters got to know him. Life started to feel full again. In 2015, they got married. Kelly wore her smile like armor. She believed in love again, and it seemed like she had finally found a safe place to rest her heart. Jimmy became part of the family. He went to birthday parties, school events, family trips. In photos, he stood beside her proudly, like a man who understood what she'd survived. To the outside world, they looked happy, like a woman who had overcome pain and finally found peace. But peace can wear a mask. And sometimes, the danger you run from comes back in a softer voice and a different face.
Cry and say, "But I love you. Can you please wear sunscreen? Because I think it's really, really important." And he's going to wear sunscreen. There you go.
Come on, man. We got some of the toughest old folks in our family. They don't wear no damn sunscreen. What are you talking? Man, no way. No way. My granddaddy was working in the heat. My grandma working in the heat. They ain't had no sunscreen. They was working. They was getting it in. Like, go in the kitchen and get the
Me and my husband are the same color. Look at us. We the same color.
We sure is.
We the same color. I'm dark, just like my husband. I got the melanin.
You have a dark mind.
I hate you. He gonna still wear the sunscreen. I don't know what he's talking about. He mad. I always win the arguments because, I'm the wife, I'm prettier, and I just show him my boobs and I win the argument.
From the outside, Kelly's life looked happy. She had a husband, a home, and a mission. She still helped women speak out. She still showed up at events. Jimmy even stood next to her sometimes, clapping when she spoke about survival and healing. But inside the walls of their home, things were not as they seemed. At first, it was small. Jokes that felt more like jabs, arguments that lasted too long, cold silences that stretched across whole days. The man who once made her laugh began to talk down to her. The playful teasing turned sharp, and when no one was watching, the smiles vanished. Kelly's daughters saw it. They saw how their mother looked tired more often. They saw how she would shrink when Jimmy got upset. They saw how the house changed when he was home, how the air felt heavier, how voices rose too easily. They begged her to leave, to stop pretending, to do what she told so many other women to do. But Kelly hesitated. She had spent years helping people get out of relationships like this. She told others that staying silent was dangerous. But now she found herself doing the same thing she once swore she'd never do again. She stayed, maybe for the kids. Maybe for the hope that he would change. Maybe because walking away twice felt like failure. Maybe because even strong people break when the pain comes dressed like love. Whatever the reason, the truth was simple. She was no longer safe. And deep down, she knew it. By the start of 2024, Kelly had made up her mind. She was leaving. She had spent years giving this marriage a chance. She had stayed longer than she should have. But something inside her had gone quiet, and that silence meant it was time. She told Jimmy the truth, calmly, clearly. She was done. At first he didn't argue, he didn't yell, he just listened. He said he understood, he said it was okay, but it wasn't. Behind his quiet eyes, something dark was building. He stopped calling as much, then started calling too much. He would show up uninvited or disappear for days. His words became short, cold. His smile stopped reaching his eyes. Kelly didn't see it fully at the time. She thought the worst was already behind her. She believed they could part peacefully, for the sake of the children, for the sake of peace. But Jimmy wasn't letting go. Not really. He was letting something grow in the dark, a quiet kind of rage that didn't shout, didn't warn, didn't give a second chance, and no one saw it coming fast enough.
Cry and say, but I love you. Can you please wear sunscreen? Because I think it's really, really important. And he's going to wear sunscreen. There you go.
Come on, man. We got some of the toughest old folks in our family. They don't wear no damn sunscreen. What are you talking? Man, no way. No way. My granddaddy was working in the heat. My grandma working in the heat. They ain't had no sunscreen. They was working. They was getting it in. I go in the kitchen and get the
Me and my
biscuits
husband are the same color. Look at us. We the same color.
We sure is.
We the same color. I'm dark, just like my husband. I got the melanin.
You have a dark mind.
I hate you. He gonna still wear the sunscreen. I don't know what he's talking about. He mad. I always win the arguments because, I'm the wife, I'm prettier, and I just show him my boobs and I win the argument.
It was a quiet morning on January 7th, 2024. Kelly's daughter Celeste came home to their apartment on McKenna Drive in Westland, Michigan. Everything looked normal at first. The lights were still on. Her mother's purse sat where it always did. Nothing seemed out of place, but the house felt wrong, too quiet, still, like something was missing or hiding. Celeste called out for her mom, no answer. She walked through the apartment room by room. That quiet feeling only grew louder. When she opened the bedroom door, time stopped. Kelly was on the floor. Her body lay in a pool of blood. Her eyes were closed. Her skin was pale. Her chest wasn't moving. There were deep wounds all over her, neck and chest. 17 in total. Celeste froze. For a second she hoped maybe, just maybe, her mother was still alive. She reached down and touched her foot. Cold. The truth sank in like a stone. Her mother was gone. Shaking, Celeste pulled out her phone and called 911. Her voice cracked as she tried to explain what she was seeing. Moments later, the police arrived. They searched the apartment. No signs of forced entry, no broken windows, nothing stolen, just one thing missing. The man who used to sleep in that bed beside her. Just hours after Kelly was found dead, something unexpected happened. Jimmy Lee Brown walked into the Westland Police Department. No hiding, no running, no words. He turned himself in. The same man who once stood beside Kelly at events now stood in front of officers, quiet, cold and empty. Police arrested him on the spot. The next day, the Wayne County prosecutor charged Jimmy with first-degree murder. The charge was clear. This wasn't a mistake. It was planned. It was personal. And it was final. As the case moved through court, Kelly's family waited. Her daughters sat in silence while the man who took their mother's life was brought in, wearing handcuffs. Then, in 2025, Jimmy made a decision. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for avoiding a long trial. In court, he said he was sorry, but no apology could undo what had been done. The judge sentenced him to 18 to 40 years in prison. That means he won't even be considered for release until he's spent nearly 2 decades behind bars. For Kelly's family, the sentence brought a kind of justice, but not peace. Because no sentence could bring her back, and no time served would heal the silence she left behind. When the news of Kelly's death spread, the shock reached far beyond her family. People she had counseled, women she had helped escape abuse, strangers who had only heard her speak once. They all felt it. The silence left behind by her absence was loud. Vigils were held across Detroit and Westland. Candles lined sidewalks. Photos of Kelly sat surrounded by flowers and handwritten notes. People stood in the cold, holding each other, crying together, not just because she was gone, but because of how she left. Her father, Ralph Mays, spoke through tears. Her twin sister, Stacy, called her Twin B, just like always, and said her birthday would never feel whole again. But they all made one promise. Kelly's work would not end here. Her mission to fight domestic violence would live on. In the stories she told, the lives she touched, and the daughters she raised, her voice may have been silenced, but the message she carried would keep echoing. As we come to the end of Kelly Wilkinson's story, we're left with more than just grief. We're left with a question. How many more women have to die before we truly listen? Kelly did everything right. She reached out, she called for help, she trusted the system, but still she was failed. Brutally, fatally, and so her story must become more than a memory. It must become a movement. If you've ever felt unsafe, unheard, or unsure about your partner's behavior, please know, love should never hurt. Control, threats, fear, those are not signs of love, they are warnings. If you're watching this and something about Kelly's story feels familiar, please, don't wait for things to get worse. There are people who care. There are safe spaces. You deserve peace, safety, and a future, even if you don't see it yet, and if you're someone who sees the signs in a friend, a sister, a neighbor, don't stay silent. Ask the question. Make the call. Be the reason someone makes it out. Kelly Wilkinson's light was taken too soon, but it hasn't gone out. It lives on in the smiles of her children, in the strength of her sisters, in the push for laws to finally protect the vulnerable, and in the hearts of everyone who chooses to speak up. Let her legacy be one of action, not just awareness. Let her story save someone else's. Rest peacefully, Kelly. We carry your name in courage.
I didn't have enough money to fill my car and my child's belly. Funny how life is. Keep writing, you will get to funny. Keep laughing. Laughter is the only thing that will make this poem funny. Like that time I wrote my first haiku along the wall of my college dorm. Funny, it was actually a